So welcome back. This time I'm gonna to keep on working on a sort of tutorial showing you how to move a mod using some Morrowind tools that are really making this thing a little simpler. So last time we have seen how to start cleaning a mod we want to use in our loading list, and we started just looking at ways to find the conflicts with the mod, and we use this test plugin conflict detector to find most of the conflicts in an easier way. Basically, you use the file and choose active plugins to load all your ESP mods that are currently in your loading list. Then you can use the check type single versus and load the one new plugin that you want to check against your loading list. And we were using this Arduino's REST mod. And so you can click the red icon here, or call the menu option to do the check, and the program will test this Arduino REST against your ESP and the related master files. Must be said that if you have some master file which is not used by any of these ESP, it's better if you add it manually to the list of plugin to check against. But oftentimes this is not really needed. You may want to do it for completeness, to be sure that there are no conflict even with your masters. And sadly, this is not one thing that this tool is doing automatically. It is only loading the ESP, not the ESM, the master, automatically. So he is checking for conflict with the masters, but in a different way. I think he is checking if the masters are referenced by some of the ESP. I'm not sure about this, but I think it works this way. Anyway, it's easy. You can just add by hand the masters you want to check. So it's not really so difficult. You can just change the filter in the loading panel, and you can select all the masters you want. It's a Windows compatible standard program, so you can just use the usual Windows shortcuts to select multiple elements from a list. So for instance, if you want to select all the modes between this one and this one, you just keep the shift key pressed and then you click and you can select all the modes. If you want to select some of them, you can just keep the control key pressed and you can do multiple selection as you want. So then you open and you have the masters loaded, and you can check against also these mods. Okay, so as you can see, last time we cleaned there were some dialogue, some info conflicts, and we cleaned them all using the construction set detail window. to mark these changes, which were not really needed, were changes to standard dialog entries, not really related to the mod, and we just set them as to be ignored when loading the plugin, and now they are no more. As you can see, we are to deal only with landscape potential conflicts. And this is what we will do is oh, I stopped it. I wanted to check volume. Okay, here it is. And we also see, I've seen another great tool to check for conflicts and to help moving the mod so the conflicts are no more. And this is test fade sharp. From test fade sharp, last time I showed you how you can generate, for instance, using test free command, a mod which is including all the landscape and the size data which your loading list is using, which is in my case abot wall something, and you can load as an overlay, for instance. If I find it actually, there it is. So this is more or less all the landmass I'm using in my Morrowind world, which is this big link. You can find a link to my more or less current map in the comment to the videos usually. So it's easy, and you can see it. It's a very big Morrowind world, and basically we are trying to fit here with no conflicts this new mod. This is just an example. Probably you will have not such a crowded map, but if the mod is conflicting in some place, you could have the need to move it. So for instance, I had this Lost City mod moved here, but when Light mod has been moved from far to the east to this place, I had request to move this mod a little, so to not conflict with the standard position of Light on the Azura Island mod, and such. I did it. I move it just a little south, so it is still visible in my map, but it is no more conflicting with the original position, new position of Light on Aya. The original position was far to the east, but now it is more or less here. So most of it is actually visible completely in the standard expanded Morrowind map. This is a good thing, I think, because lore is good, but until we have a map with no problem showing distant lands, like hopefully it will be when Open Morrowind is finalized and as powerful as it is our current MGI XI and standard Morrowind configuration, well, probably having no problems with big maps will be a great plus. But for now, I think if possible, it is better to fit inside the expanded map of standard Morrowind, which is more or less uh, filling the space which is around the terminal rebuild part. Anyway, this is just to have a detailed view of how the map is, but what we really need is something at cell level, and this is what Test Fate Sharp is really helping with. So there is not really a scroll here with this program. You can scroll using these buttons, and you can click them up and down and so on, but easier thing is you select a direction and then press the enter key, so you don't have to repeat clicking. And for instance, I want to go up and I keep pressing enter. So what to do? Oh, I think the simple thing is just to have the overlay with the mods we want to check for conflicts, and the one mod, the new mod we want to possibly move to avoid conflicts. So I will press the open key and look for the mod, which is Edwina REST, I think. And let's see where it is conflicting. In this map we have several places. Some of them could be a problem, some of them could be not, or be in standard places with not real conflicts. The only real way to check this is to open the construction set with the mod and take a rapid look at what's in the mod and what is conflicting. So we can just do this. So the mod we want to move is this one. And this tool is also useful when you compare it with the test plugin conflict detector, in that you can see where the landscape conflicts are here, and you see, for instance, there's a conflict with this mod. So what you could do is select the cell name, which for an exterior is the cell coordinates, and I suggest you just click it a couple of times and try to press the Ctrl+C keys, so you can copy this coordinates of the cell, because this way it's much faster to look for it in the construction set, because you can just edit, find, edit, this is world. The option is world go to cell, and this way you can just paste here and directly see where the conflict is. As you can see, we are in the proper cell coordinates here, the West Gash region. Let me light this a little. And I suggest you also, when you are in the terrain view windows in the construction set, you can press the B key, which is border, so you can view the actual cell borders. So from the test conflicting detector, we have some potential conflict in this cell between the mod we are trying to move and, for instance, this mod. And you can also see the conflict loading also that mod in the construction set and decide if it is something worth moving. For instance, I can just load also the mod. Yeah, I write the starting letters of the mod name, and then I can find it and check it. I suggest you do not set it at the active mod, just you load it, then you go back to the cell, and now we should see if and what kind of conflict there could be there. We do the same way, we go to world, go to cell, and paste the cell coordinates. This way is faster to go there, and as you can see, I think the conflict is here, because this is a house added by the second mod, Male Pyjama Weapons Companions, and the Adwiner's Rest mod is adding probably another house, this one. So we can see that it's not a real conflict. It's some kind of conflict because probably both mods are, or one of the mods is touching the landscape, but probably this is not really needed, because you can see that this is really plain landmass, not really need for changes. So in my experience, conflict like this are better solved just removing the landscape changes to the mod you are trying to adapt to the rest of your loading list. So in this case, I will just remove the changes to this cell from the mod. I can do two ways. I can directly remove the landscape changes here on the Adwiner's Rest. This is faster probably, and we can do this way. I think double click probably and delete entry. But I am of the idea that anything you can do from the construction set, if you can do from there, from the detailed view of the construction set, is always safer, in my opinion. So I will show you how to do it from here. It's the same story as usual. You just load the mod you want to change, and it's a Adwiner's Rest, and we don't need anymore the other mod because we have already seen what we were looking for. We know what is conflicting. We just need to remove the changes to that cell landscape. So we just set it as active file. We go to details, and we can look for that. For that landscape changes, probably it's faster to sort by ID here, and we look for the land data and look for the cell we want to remove changes to, and its coordinates -2, 3. So we look for it here, and here it is. We can see there are also other changes to the cells nearby. We could also look there, but I think that's not really needed for now. And this is just an example. You can go to detail if you want and do a very fine work, but usually it's not really necessary. Changes to landscape, usually you need to touch them if you find seams, landscape seams in game. If not, you can also avoid changing them. Anyway, we want to remove these changes. The proper way is to press the cancel key, the delete key, the delete key in your keyboard, and mark as ignored this data. So you press confirm and you see the I ignored all this land data, and you still have not changed the mod. To make this effective, you close this window and load the mod, and now the mod is being loaded without that record change, that style change. And so you can just save the mod. Then we, as usual, go to our tools for cleaning the mod every time we save it from the construction set, because that's a proper way to handle it, because the construction set is always adding some unneeded information and dirty information that are not needed. You could just clean the mod when you have finished working on it, but it's so fast to do the standard cleaning using the automatic tools that I suggest you do very often, and ideally every time you actually change the mod from the construction set. So we have a couple tools to automatically clean, and we always use them. And the first one is test-free command, and you can use it from mesh. Different version of mesh can have the way to use test-free command in different places. I have this modded in mesh to do it from this file menu. Other version of mesh have it as an option, I think a direct option here, clean with test-free command. Oh, I can just look for it. I think I have one of this version, just to show you the difference. So this is a different version, I think, and the option is here. Just right click, and instead of going to file menu, you have a test-free command menu. So for instance, we go to Arduino. Oh, sorry. Arduino's rest, where is it? Okay, so right click, and you have a test-free command clean selected, which is more or less the same thing that I'm doing from the file menu in my source version of mesh. But the gist of it is it is convenient to use the test-free command from mesh if you can, because you have a graphic interface and you don't have to open the usual console window. You can do it from the console window, but it's faster this way. So just do the command, test-free command clean. And let me check this report from test-free command. As you can see, test-free command is cleaning the usual things from light setting, duplicated in the style, And to be sure of cleaning everything, I always use, after test free command, I always use also test tool. So I open test tool, confirm, clean ESP ESM files. Don't ever click this, just fix it. This is dangerous if you don't know what you're doing. So this is the option to select clean ESP. Execute. Test tool will ask you to visit options. Why not? You check you have your options set as you want. I already told you how to use this, but I will just do a short recap about it. I think these two options are better to be checked. So don't change plugin file names, retain file time, and everything else can be not checked. If you are not sure if your mod can have some particular dialogue, rewriting standard topics, maybe you may want to check also this one. Or if your mod is using possibly some empty cells to put things or to filter dialogue, you may want to also press this one. So it depends. To cut a long story short, if you want to be absolutely sure that you don't damage a mod, it is probably more safe to have also these two checked. But if you know what you're doing, you can also uncheck this. And remember that everything test tool will do through your mod is in the log, so you can just verify what has been done, or you can even just instead of actually change the original mod, change some copies in the clean subfolder, and then when you're sure, you do it in the original mod. Anyway, I already know that this mod has no problem, so I will just use my usual setting. Done, and clean, execute, and select. And this tool found nothing as to clean, and that's good. So this tool just clean automatically with a couple clicks of buttons, and more importantly, they can clean exactly the same way and the same things every time you dirty your mod while saving it from the construction set. And this is important when modding, because you will probably edit your mods a lot of time, so you need a fast and reliable tool for cleaning. And there may be some hand cleaning with other tools like Enchanted Editor or Tezame or what you like to do, but when the mod is finished. For cleaning each time you save from the construction set, I really suggest you use these two tools, Task Free Command Clean and Test Tool. Okay, so having said that, what we want really to do today is to see how we can move part of this mod if we want to remove conflict. So I will just skip the part where you check all these possible conflicting zones, looking at the test plugin conflict detector and opening the things in the construction set and so on. And like we just have seen, I will do it just for a couple cells, just to see it. For instance, this zone, we could open this cell -425 and see if we have conflict also here. And yes, also task plugin conflict detector is telling us that there's a possible landscape conflict between Adwina's Rest and the Locken Solstin Castle Ald Vendrosvoga mod, which is a big merge of 3 different modes which are in the north area and they are east of Solstin. So this is probably a real conflict and something difficult to solve. We can check for it in the construction set just to get an idea. And so I will load the mod with the alt vendors and so on. Let me check the name. Locken plus and so on. So I will look for the mod, which is this big one, and pay attention to something. When you load a mod, take a look at the parent masters. If you see more than the 3 usual the Bethesda masters, it is better to select the other masters by hand. Do not think that the construction set will always load automatically the masters after the Bethesda standard ones. Oftentimes it will automatically load the 4th one, but a lot of times it will not load the 5th one, and so you will crash while loading without realizing why. So in this case we have no problems because they are the 3 standard masters, but if you have a lot of masters, it is better to check them by hand this way, clicking them here, for instance, and so to be sure to load the proper masters. Anyway, we need just this 3 standard master. We get our Locken mod, this big mod, and we get, as usual, our mod as active file and load these mods in the construction set, and we'll take a look at this possible conflict and see. So the cell is this one, for instance, and we can, as usual, click a couple of times here and press the Ctrl+C key, and then go to world, go to cell, paste the coordinates because I'm lazy, and wait for the mod to go, construction set to go there. Then we can just click something and take a look. And as you can see, there are really problems here, big seams, because probably the mod is just adding things in a place where there is already a big part of the Adventurous landmass. As you can see, our mod is adding this sort of small island, but there is already the Adventurous coast with boats and castles and and whatever here. So this is really a place we must move for our mods to be compatible with this big mod. And so without looking at other things, we can say that this part of the mod is what we want surely to move. And this is what we are going to do with Test Fate, and with the help of another small tool which I have programmed with, I don't remember, I think in Visual Basic probably, or out to it, I really don't remember. Visual Basic, I think. And it's very simple. It is just something to calculate automatically the coordinates, but it really makes things faster and simple for using Test Fate. And so I suggest you just give it a try. I think it is working with just a recent enough version of .NET standard library, so you probably have it installed already. And I recently updated it, so it does a couple of calculations better and in a simple way. So let's say we want to move this part of the mod. So we need two things: a good program to do this operation, and a good way to feed the program with the proper information to move things where we want them to go. The program is called Test Fate. It is the command line tool which has inspired this Test Fate Sharp, and it is actually superior to Test Fate Sharp for the task of moving, because it does more things, it moves more things, and in a better way than Test Fate Sharp. So you could use Test Fate Sharp to try and move these cells, but I suggest you use Test Fate because it's a more advanced problem just for this task. Test Fate Sharp is really great to see the conflict and see where and decide where you want to put this part of the mod you want to move. But for the real computation of the moving of the mod, I really suggest you use Test Fate, the standard Test Fate. Okay, so there are several versions available of Test Fate. I know some people prefer the latest beta. I prefer the very latest alpha, which was never officially released by the author, but I used it a lot, and in my opinion it is the better option. So you can get it surely from my site, because I salvaged it here, because it has been available in the site of the modder, the author, for a reduced time, but luckily I've been able to get it, because in my opinion it's too precious to not use it. And the big difference compared to the previous version, if we go to the site of the author, or we can just take a look at the Test Fate help, which is usually an HTML file, Test Fate README. And when you download the tool, I really suggest you study a little this thing, because first you get an idea of what the tool is able to do, and also you can a little more accustomed to the command and the configuration of what can be done and what cannot be done. You will not need probably to write this command by yourself, because this small tool I wrote probably will help you to generate automatically this proper syntax. But it is always good to try and understand what the program can do and what it cannot do, and especially differences between the available version. And so the best thing to see differences is to go probably to the site of the author, which is Lightwave. So we try and look for Lightwave and test fate. And the first link. Okay. So alternatives are: this one is the latest beta, other one you can find from in my site, which would be the 0.97 alpha, and let me check if I can find it. So download Morrowind tools. I will sort by name and look for I was sure to have it here. No. Let's look at the links. That's fate. Morrowind modding tools. Here it is. Oh, it's not a link to something in my site, it's the link to the site of the author, but this link is no more in the first page. So, you can just make a shortcut in your browser to this link if you want, put it in your preferred links, but here it is. I don't remember actually if I have it hosted in my site. Anyway, you can download it, and the reason why is here. This latest alpha version is supporting NPC EI packages and travel marker, i.e. escort commands, i.e. follow cell commands, place item cell commands, a lot of scripting commands and EI packages that are not managed by the previous version. So this means that you don't have to change these things and change the scripting commands by hand, giving the new coordinates and so on. It is all automatic. Sometimes it may happen that some teleportation doors do not properly move. I have this happening 1 or 2 times, so in my experience this is anyway much minor work than doing these changes by hand. So this is the version that I suggest you to use. Then, if you can try it and prefer to use the previous version, well, it's the same tool, just with some less advanced option. Anyway, I'm assuming to use this one for now. So basically this tool is able to move some cell, duplicate in another position of the map. Problem is it's a line command tool. You need to give explicit commands for each cell you want to move, or you need to have a mode which is defining already for each cell you want to move if the cell is properly related to a defined region in the mod. And in my experience, mods that have these regions already defined in the regions windows, like this way, are not the majority. Especially old mods, sometimes regions are not present or are defined just for some part of the mods. And so, well, if you take a look at the mod and find that every cell you want to move is properly assigned to some region, there is some easy command you can use for test fate to move all the cells in the region. But in my experience, oftentimes you don't have this defined. So my suggestion is to use the simple commands that can move one cell at a time. And this is a little annoying to do, because you see, we want to move this part and there are 4, 8, 10, 12 cells, and we probably must consider also the bordering cell if you want to do a proper moving with the sea floor and so on. And well, I think it's a little work to do this by hand, so I have this small utility. You could just use some kind of I think Excel to put the coordinates of the cell and some formula to calculate the new coordinates with some distance. But I just did a small program for doing this, and you can find it still at my site and in the download options, I think. Morrowind tools, and I recently updated it. Test fate config generator. It's recent, the update, so you can probably find it. Let me check. Maybe not. I've been lazy. I did not put it here. Anyway, it's easy to find. You just go to download, Morrowind tools, and it is you look for something with test fate config generator. So it's a very small program that should work with the standard library, .NET library. Anyway, this program is very simple. you define a rectangle with the top left cell coordinates and the bottom right cell of the zone you want to move, and you can set the destination cell, which is where the top left cell will go, or the displacement, the distance at which you want your rectangle, your original rectangle area to go in the map. And to decide what to put here, we just use the test fade sharp map, which is very good to decide this thing. So for instance, say I want to put this part which is conflicting, I want to put it for instance here, or I could want to put it even here. In my case, I think I will do this, because here probably I have some other mods which I am not using now, but I know that I used in the past, which is already in this zone, so I prefer to put it here. And it's actually easy with this test fade sharp tool, because you can really see the cell, and for instance we may want to get this cell like the top left corner and this cell like the bottom right corner. So what I will do is just reduce this, reduce this a little and read the coordinates of my top left cell which I want to move, which is -6, 27, and right here, same things. Then I will look at the bottom right cell, which is this one. I hope it is big enough to be so you can see the numbers, but anyway, I think it's easy to understand. This is the bottom right. I read the coordinates while moving the cursor on the cell, and cell is -3, 23, so bottom right cell here. And then I can do two things. I can input the destination cell where I want to move my top left cell, or I can put the displacement, the distance in cells X and I cannot say this thing, Y, I think, X and Y coordinates. I want to move the thing. Personally, I think it's easier to work with the destination cell. So let's say I have this region which is 4 cell wide and 5 cell height. So I want to move this one 4 cell and 5 cells. So here is where my final destination could be, for instance this cell, and coordinates are 47, 41. So I will just put them in this tool. 47, oh sorry, destination 47. I press the tab key, so this displacement is automatically updated, and the other one I don't remember. 47 and 4, okay, 41. And press the tab key to update this displacement. So we want to move 53 cells to the east and 14 cells to the north. This area of the mode. I press generate button and I have here the command I can use in the test fate configuration. Already I can just copy and paste them. Test fate works this way. There's a configuration file. There are other ways to give as parameters different configuration named file, but simpler way is just to use the test fate tfate config file and change it. This one, tfate.config. So I will just open it. As you can see, I already used a lot of commands, a lot of things, and I keep them in my configuration as examples, but I just comment out the lines, so they are skipped by the program, but they are here for my reference when I need to use it. Anyway, so we have this symbol which means this line is skipped, is just a comment. So what we want to do is use one of these previous example and, for instance, comment also them. I can just do something like this. I will select what I want to comment, which is the previous mod which I have moved, for instance, and just do a search and replace with any text editor you want to use. And for instance, I will write the starting of the line TC and replace with the same thing with a starting comment symbol, and do the change in my selected text only. And yes, I want to replace all. And as you can see, any text editor can do something like this. And then I will comment also this line that I used previously, because it's always a good reference. And if I want to move that mode in a different place, I have already the commands, similar commands here. You could just delete all these lines if you want, but I really suggest when you use command line tool, keep the previous command you use like a comment, because they are always good as some reference and something you can reuse in the future. Anyway, what we want to do is move this mode, so we just copy the command line. The command line you need is test fate, which is the executable program, and the name of the mod you want to move. The mod you want to move must be in the safe folder where your test fate program is. And test fate program is called, I think, testfate.exe, if I recall correctly. Not so much, and here it is, testfate.exe. So if you want to move a mod, you must copy it in the same folder where the testfate.exe is. And our mod is in the data files here and is called Arduino. So I will just copy it here, overwrite an older version because this is the more recent one, and we should have it here. This one. Okay, so this is the name of the mod we want to move. So I will just copy and paste it in my test fate config here. So the command is test fate adwinas rest .esp. I could have just written it, but I'm very lazy, so I always prefer to copy and paste things if possible. Okay, so we have the command, but we need the proper instructions for each cell. But luckily we have this tool that did this thing automatically, and we can just copy paste here the instructions. And we should be ready to use our tool. As you can see, you can do this by hand, obviously, but imagine with a big mod like Tamir Rebuild, or for instance something that I moved very recently, like the Azurian Islands. How long could this thing done by hand? So really, sometimes it is worth the effort to code a little utility to just make this calculation faster. Anyway, we are ready, so I will just save this configuration and try and see what happens, starting test fate. So we sort by name and look for test fate. So I will double click it and start it and see what happens. And the program is doing his job, as you can see from the console here. And hopefully it will generate a report and the output, which is always called tfout.esp. This is the name of the output of the program. We have what happened, found.cells, moved.cells, modified objects, and so on. Important thing is to check for scripts, because sometimes scripts to work properly need also to be recompiled, save the game from the construction set. And if you see that 0 scripts are changed, this is not necessary. But if you see at least 1 script changed, it is better to recompile the scripts. If you are not sure if this is needed, well, do it, so you are sure that things will work as expected. Sorry, I need to drink. Okay, and so we should have our tf out ready, and here it is. And to see what happened, we can just load it in our test fate sharp window. And as I'm really lazy, I will just copy the path, this, and then load it in our test fate sharp. So this is the original position of the mod. And now I will just I think I could just load the new one. So I will close the mod, the original mod, at the moment and open the moved mod, which is in the test fate folder and is called tf out. And as you can see, the thing worked, it seems. So we can just load it in the construction set and see what happened. So we get this tf out and copy to the folder where our Morrowind mods are, the data files folder, and then load it in the construction set. So we close the other mods. Oh, I can really... Well, I could keep the old mods, but no need. I'm just checking this one. So this should be an exact copy of the mod, but with those cells moved. Let's see. Moved reference not found. Yes, but I forgot to load something, probably. Oh, I think I know what I forgot to load. But let's see the construction set error report, so we can be sure about what happened. And the construction set usually generates a file that is called warnings.txt that you can... Hello! That you can read to see what happened. And I don't see strange messages. So, well, let's try again. Probably I forgot to load some master. Oh, let me take a look at this tf out from mesh. So we have the masters. Let's see if there are problems. I will try clean just to see if there are strange things. See nothing strange. Okay, let's try again. That's a moved reference not found. Well, we create a new reference. I'm curious to see what's the problem. Ah, I understand. In the cell that we moved, probably, there were some rocks which were not added by the original mod, but were in the standard Morrowind masters, and so they were moved, not created by the mod. And so they are not present in the region where we moved them. But this thing is solved just clicking yes and click continue. So the new rocks are just put in the new cells. You just keep telling yes, and it should solve things. I hope so. At least. Okay. And these are usual messages by Blood Moon and tribunal loading. So let's see what happened. So to cut a long story short, if you see this message of object not present and so on when you move part of cells, just keep saying yes, and it should go to the end, hopefully. Anyway, I can close this one. I think we want to look at these cells, which are 48, 39, far from the northeast. So I have to actually write them this time. I cannot copy paste. 48. Okay. Well, go to cell 48. Let's see if I can go there. And as you can see, it seems things worked more or less. I think I needed to transfer also more cells around. West of where town will rebuild preview? Yes, I think so. We can see it clearly enough in the map. Let me check for it. Here. Well, if you consider a present situation, the area that will be occupied in the far future, I think, by the complete land masses of Cyrodiil and Skyrim is currently free to use, because the real areas populated by the Skyrim mods are not so big. I have moved the PC stack. As you can see, this is the real area occupied by even the most recent Stark Island. The rest is only ocean sea floor and nothing to really play with. And this is the rich Volga forest part of Skyrim Home of the North. Bigger, but still not so big. And we have a lot of space. I moved Light Raya here, I moved Stilgar Tower here, and I'm using this big... it's not very populated, but it's a very scenic mod. I'm exploring this every now and then. Hashlands mod by Space Coke, I think. The one real problem is the border of the Tamriel rebuilt west area is very high, so from here most likely you could see strange things. So I think a good way to fix this thing is just to make a mod closing the border here, making some mountain border, and to keep this area not populated. But you have still a lot of place where to place things. And this is a completely visible map zone, so you can put mods here. There's a little space also to the east, but most free space is here, and a little to the north. Anyway, this is how I have organized my placing of mods, but it's not something unique. You can decide to do in a different way. Also because I have put mods during several years, moved them not all at once because they are a lot, and you can imagine it's a lot of work to do something like this. But in the year sometimes I move something a little in a different position, but all in all, I've been able to place a lot of things in this still free map zones. And the big advantage is you can actually use the in-game map with this landmass area completely, with the exterior and the vision of the map from far, and the world map and the detail map. They both work. And so really, if you have big mods you want to move, probably it's easier to place them to the west. It depends. If you really prefer to have lore correct mod, for instance, you may want to keep Light Dronaya here, because it's meant to be to the east. But this way you probably will have a small piece of the map which is not visible in the world view. And so it depends. Personally, I prefer to have a mod completely visible in the map and have it to the east instead of west, or the contrary, but to be more playable looking at the map. But it depends. It's a matter of preference, like always in selecting the mods you like, or you want to play with a particular playthrough. Anyway, I think we have a partial result, because we have still some steams. We moved most of the mod, because what is the playable part of the mod is here, except maybe this one. Let me check if the cell is present, or maybe I need to load. Oh yes, I think it's here, but I need to just load the cell in the construction set. Or is it missing? Okay, that's everything here. So as you can see, the cell is, for instance, this cell is keeping the landscape of the zone from where it comes. So probably some construction set work is needed anyway to properly define the border of the mod, but everything needed for the mod to work should be already here. It's a matter of fixing the border and the seams, but it should be working. Let me check if I can. Oh, I lost the cell. $48. So you need to do something in the construction set, but as you can see, all the doors, all the proper meshes and so on, everything is here. You could also transfer more cells if you want. But I can think the fastest thing is just to do a little work in the construction set. So we open hello and the little wall editing. I think the first thing to do is probably trying to fix the seams. So we just open the landscape settings and uncheck everything and just click. Oh crap, I did again. And just click, we choose a big radius for the editing tool, like 10, and then click on the seafloor level to fill the gaps. And so on. I will do one cell because it's a matter of repeating this thing to fix the mod, but you get the how to do this, and oftentimes you have to save to be able to go on fixing, but you have to fill the gaps just clicking with nothing selected here. When the gaps are closed, you probably want to use the other tools like flatten, for instance, so we can do the usual work, and as you want to do your preferences, you can flatten everything to try and use a smaller area of the map. Then you can remove the editing to the color here, the vertex colors, and then the texture, select now, and so on. Or change texture. It's the usual work, landscaping, just to properly integrate better the borders. But the really important thing is all the meshes, the doors, and so on should be working. And for instance, NPC with the teleport options, things like this. So I will assume that you do the work of closing borders and so on where there are gaps. Save. And the next important step is to go to the scripting tools and well, verify that you have all the needed masters loaded, because this way you can avoid to generate dirty scripts and so on. But the mod has no problems, because if you have at least Morrowind and Tribunal or Blood Moon loaded as master, you will not generate problems. To be safe, just select all the three masters and you will have no problem compiling the scripts. So what we want to do is just click this button and recompile all scripting. You may have heard that bad things may happen if you do this, but the bad things happens only if you don't have the masters loaded. If you have the masters loaded, there will be no dirty scripts generated, no dirty game safe settings and so on. You will just recompile all the scripts, so you are sure that if the moving the mod has changed some scripting coordinates, they are properly compiled, so the mod is updated to use the new coordinates properly. Sometimes this will not really needed. It depends on what kind of scripting command the mod is using, but it's safer this way because you recompile whole and you are safe. The important thing is to be sure to have the free master loaded. This way you can recompile all in a safe way. When you have done this, you save, and the mod should work in theory. So if I have some NPC in Balmora which was teleporting to this place, now it should teleport me here. Same things for EI commands for NPC, having an EI commands to work here, to walk or to run here, to follow someone here. Now the same EI command should work in this place. And this is the big work that this test fate tool is doing, not only moving but updating all these things. And I'd say that I have rarely found that some door was not moved correctly or things like this. It happens, but it's something rare if you do things properly. So in short, tool you need: first test fate, second test fate sharp, and if you want, I suggest give a try to my small tool, because it will make generating the proper commands to move one cell in a much faster way. There are different ways you could do it. You could give each cell you want to move some region and use the command to move the whole region. If you look at the test fate help, it is explained, but I think that moving each cell is faster, because oftentimes you have no defined region, so the time you would take to make these regions, assign them to the cell, probably is more than the time you need to just define a rectangular area and generate the command for the test fate config. So I will stop here, because also my voice is abandoning me, but I hope that has given a help how to use this tool, or at least a good idea or what you can or cannot do moving this thing automatically. Okay, thanks for watching, and see you next time.